You have a fantastic head for a statue, James.
Would be a big ass statue.
Oh. Well, this is a good start for Rain. I have to say, I love watching Rain. He's one of my favorite players to watch, I think, because he's very measured and he's very good at the individual spots. We're sort of playing by yourself. He's very good at that. And this has been a quintessentially good pistol from FaZe. I mean, you can't really argue with.
It's just played out the exact way that we talked about in the pregame, isn't it?
Yeah.
They go at mid and they run into Rain, who gets like 2 instant headshots. They run back to B. Nico does a 1-tap. They run CT spawn. Olaf gets a headshot. Guardian on the flank gets a 1-bullet headshot. Yep. Have fun.
They were unallowed to play together in any way.
Yeah.
They were just straight picked 1v1.
And I mean, the cool thing was there was even that player. I'm trying to figure out who. I guess it would have had to have been Guardian or maybe Olaf. That was in Boiler when Rain gets those kills. And as soon as they start falling back, and as soon as he hears the footsteps, he has such a quick peek to just get the information, right? He just peeks and he's either going to catch him running away or he's got the perfect timing to see that there's no one there. And I'm assuming it was Guardian just because the flank came in.
Guardian is a P2000 player. Can add him to the list. There was an interesting conversation. Somebody posted on Reddit recently and said, should the silence them for have an extra magazine? Which I thought would actually be a good idea at this point with the slower fire rates.
I mean, I think more than anything, it would just allow you to like spam a clip through smoke, right? At some point,
exactly.
Without the tracers.
Yeah. But I think it would be fun. I mean,
dude, when that got released with one less clip, people were saying like, why would you do this? Why not just give it the extra clip? So
yeah,
I think everyone would like to see it have one more
magazine, by the way.
Whatever. Don't be that guy.
I have it written down.
We get tweeted all the time.
I just don't care about those people.
It's one guy who always
it's the same
tweets
guy.
us over years. Every time we say it wrong, it's like, well, actually, it is this. GODSENT not getting much mileage from these weapons so far. Ooh. Well, there we go. Trust Dennis, making this competitive, and now there's a chance for a plant. Let's not forget, these guys both have armor and so on. But the bomb might go short on its own, 24 seconds. And the pit player is still activated.
Oh, God.
Now the pit player is dead. This is winnable, Dan.
Yep, all off the back of the double deke from Dennis. Now, it's down to Freddy B to try to clutch. The bomb's already down and the damage has already been awesome from GODSENT, so they can't be too unhappy by losing that clutch. Freddy B, he already did what he had to do, get that kill on Olafmeister in the pit. So, pretty amazing result if you ask me.
Freddy B.
That's the power of having Dennis on your roster, isn't it? Like,
it is, yeah.
If you're FaZe, that's one of the more frustrating rounds to have, just because you were in a 5-on-2, and then he gets those incredible kills, and then just some unfortunate timing gives up a 3rd kill and a plant. That's a brilliant round for GODSENT, but it's such a bummer for FaZe because that round looked so bad for GODSENT. They didn't do anything. They had like no nades to do any kind of execute. They were just walking out one by one, getting killed, and then Dennis playing Gladiator gets his hero round.
It is one of the reasons why CSGO can be pretty exciting to watch, and why it's quite cool, I think, for a player, at the very least, because it never really feels like in this game you're truly helpless. Because even with just a $700 pistol, you can one-bullet people. Yeah. And that's hard to do, obviously, consistently against the top teams in the world, but there are players who can. And that's pretty... I think that's quite awesome, actually.
It is also very frustrating at times.
It definitely is. But you always have to balance, because imagine if you imagine that the pistols are really terrible. Let's say all the pistols, basically. Then you have a game which leans heavily towards strategy and just positioning and team play, and it hinges much less on the individual. So it's about striking that balance in the gameplay between the individual and the team.
Yeah, and I think actually Counter-Strike is in a really good place in that regard as well. As much as we can complain about the balance of guns and pistols being too strong and how it used to be and everything, I think there is a good blend of having the individual able to create those exciting moments.
Yeah, and I think there's enough to work with that even though the pistol rounds can be very difficult to deal with and not lose to anyone, I feel like if you're a team that really does put in the extra work, I think it is definitely possible to do, to have great anti-force buys and anti-ecos. Consistent ones, at least.
That's where we digress. I don't believe that's possible.
I guess we have to just further define our measure of consistency.
Yes, certainly.
Twist has got an AWP, no helmet. So he continues to be the primary sniper for GODSENT over Doppelland. He was added to the roster as a sniper.
I like it. I like it a lot.
This is a super popular way that FaZe likes to play Inferno. Is just have Nico up on that half wall over towards B or behind it, just jumping, but essentially just getting information here. And he usually just takes the initial fight, and gets 1 kill and then falls away. But obviously this allows him to stack up. And now actually he's getting pretty aggressive, and of course he finds kills through the smoke.
Nice pre-firing there. That was enough to ward off Twist from trying to punish him through the smoke. 45 seconds, and GODSENT are still not allowed to go through top mid. FaZe have been really good with the grenades there. Constant spamming, smokes and so on. So they've wasted as much time as they can. Not sure if Guardian yet. I think he saw him on the radar and then goes back and takes Dennis out. The push comes in towards short. There's a great crossfire here for FaZe, and GODSENT are going to get trapped. We've got flashbangs coming in. Harrigan will clean up the rest from the back. That was a pretty solid round from FaZe. They delayed GODSENT until there were about 45 seconds left, and then surgery happened.
Yeah, it was quite cool. Well, it's quite tough because GODSENT obviously lost a player through the smoke immediately, and they never decided to really re-challenge Banana. So it really felt like from that point forwards, FaZe are in such a commanding position.
I mean, the A defense can be very difficult if your team is always going to be playing it passively, but if you have 4 players there, that kind of neutralizes it. So a nade stack down mid does a little bit of damage. And yeah, I mean, that'll be something to keep our eye on, because we know FaZe likes to do that. Just keep one person at banana. Like they love that. Some teams don't often do it every single round, but FaZe will be more than happy to and cheat that 4th player over. So it'll be something to keep our eyes on if GODSENT can kind of ever neutralize that, ever force them back into the B bomb site and make them honest to have 2 players there. I think that'll be the big test for this T side.
Well, goodbye. Goodbye. No boost shenanigans for you. So this will be over pretty soon. And so far, pretty great start from FaZe. So I think you highlighted there, what you'd like to see from GODSENT. It would indeed be quite nice to see sort of an actual default take place where they're really truly able to keep a high grip of banana as well as top mid. Yeah,
the tough part, the cool thing for FaZe is that round they just had, that last gun round they just had, where they had 4 players survive, effectively turned around the impact or the damage they took from that eco round where they lost 3 and allowed a plant.
Right.
The fact that they had 4 survive just builds up all that money that they had lost in that round. So they're sitting really pretty. I mean, obviously up 5-0, but in terms of their economy, it's just going to be so great.
That is great. That is marvelous. Marvelous. And you can see that FaZe is still pressuring in onto Banana, and that deep smoke is still active. GODSENT looks like they want to go through it though, or at least it should be dissipating relatively soon. No, it's the flash straight through the smoke. That forces Nico to deploy an additional smoke in and go for the defense, but Nico is absolutely killing it. 3 kills in a row. Dennis will get the trades, but Nico, oh my god, look at the damage he's done.
Dennis is in a strong position, however. Not often checked, but he will peek them before they get a chance to check their position, and that might be a round-winning play. Rain's creeping into the angle, but he's quick enough to shut Dennis down. Rain versus Twist. Twist with a molly on the bomb. Got the face at the same time. No fear from Twist. Straight in the face. And enough damage was done. Despite Nico's best efforts, Nico made it look like a Nico round.
Yeah, it's actually a crazy round. Nico just crushing it, but that's somehow still not enough because you have Dennis doesn't realize he's on 2 HP, still smashing it.
Yeah, I think part of it was, I mean, in a 3-on-2 there was no teamwork from FaZe, in the sense that there was no 2 players everyone's grouped up for that retake. That could have been a little bit more passive, I think. From Guardian especially, swinging out that wide to peer into a smoke. I know it always feels like you're never in danger, but Dennis proves him wrong.
Make a play that gets your Twix hard.
Yes. Why does Disco have an MP7? It works. He gets a kill.
He has a kill, yeah. Someone actually asked me, you know, what I thought the sort of most underutilized weapons are. And I think the MP7 is growing as one of those fairly underutilized weapons.
Surely this play doesn't work. It's gonna work, isn't it?
Where's he going to go, though? Okay. That's it, and there's not enough time to react. He needs that second kill, though. He needs to pick off Nico towards the arch position. He will smoke him off. Has Guardian been detected? He has now with a kill, taking the bomb. Grenade flying through the smoke. 1 versus 2 for Dennis. He's got 2 kills so far. Needs a quad kill to win this. Forward smoke. Time is being bought for the CT side. Karrigan rotating through apartments. Dennis, where is the last player? What is his read? His read is from the back, and Karrigan's there. A very fast shot from apartments. 6-1 for FaZe.
Dennis is trying really hard to win this game. He's trying really hard, man.
That bloody tryhard. Yeah, no, that's sick. He just stands in the smoke. Batman's out, gets the kill. All of his teammates fall, but I mean, again, a great round in terms of, look at the money now. We just said it was a great economy 2 rounds ago, and after 1 win, and then, you know, bring it into a 1-on-1 there, GODSENT is, I mean, they force buy into it just because they know the economy's low, but they're at such a disadvantage in this round.
Yeah, it's good to see Dennis with those performances nonetheless. So that is encouraging to have at least, you know, when you're sort of getting crushed, to having at least one player who is actually able to get kills, make the rounds close, create situations like this. Although it may serve as a double-edged sword should it, you know, if that was the reason that, you know, it committed them into force buy. As it does look difficult to find a conversion from a buy like this.
Well, especially because they've used a lot of utility to get this bracket control, and they've lost a player for it, and they don't have a whole lot left behind it. Just a 1 smoke, flash, and nade. Tough part is if you look at the rounds from GODSENT, like one of the things that I mentioned in the pregame was that their T-sides yesterday looked pretty weak. And here, if you look at the rounds they've had success, you know, is the Deagle, the 3K from Dennis in that force buy. And then you had Dennis with red HP picking off Guardian, getting 3 kills on that round to open things up to give them their only round win. The previous round is Dennis once again hiding in smoke and making the play. There doesn't seem to be, ooh, that's a nice spray down from Karrigan, but there's not a whole lot of like team-wide organization to have some kind of execute or pull someone out of a rotation. It's just kind of, is someone going to have success making a play somewhere? It feels very Fnatic-esque, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and FaZe aren't really making any big basic mistakes. For example, in that round, FaZe realized that it was an eco or sort of somewhat a force, you know, something that looked like a force buy that could be the potential buy of GODSENT, and they just played passive positions. They played it perfectly. The way that they handled the rotation was perfect as well. It's really, really safe. And that's one of the reasons why FaZe have been really impressive. Despite that collection of crazy individual skill, they've actually tied it together with some discipline and some like, reserved play when it needs to be reserved, which is not always going to happen when you have highly skilled players who all want to be active and make plays.
Another eco round. Feels like every round is an eco round almost.
Yeah, and it's just tough. They have nothing to really make anything happen in this round. It should be easy.
Yeah. Congregation is here. And now it's gone. And it's gone. Right then, buy time. No AWPs for the T side, but it is Inferno, so not necessarily so harmful. What is harmful, though, is the complete lack of utility on the T side. Let's have a Butcher's Hook. Oh, wow, look at that. Freddy, 1 kill. Dopplan, 1 kill. Schneider is yet to frag. So, GODSENT have a bunch of smokes and the odd flashbang, and it seems that FaZe will not wait. So perhaps this has not worked the way they expected.
FaZe, though, with that deep and honor control again, even though they've lost Rain. This is a potential way to make up for that gap in the smoke, allowing a spray. It looks like actually Nico managed to dink twist there. Either way, after the kill there, Disco Dopplan will make a sprint to top banana, but Guardian's still covering. Really important there, the Guardian's like peeking his head out and staying active.
And here's the impact of his presence. Once Guardian gets a kill there, you can just see on the minimap, GODSENT says, nope, we're not going to go to B. We're not going against Guardian. Part of that might be the fact they have no flashbangs. They only have smokes, which is nice to cut off a position, but you need flashbangs to force the Opper back. Olaf is going to have to book it to get back towards Kerrigan and Pitt to help him out, but he's got one wrapping, so this is going to be a very, very difficult round. It all comes down to timings here in this hit for GODSENT.
Yeah, that smoke might actually help Lofmeister, but he's trying to do too many jobs at once, unfortunately. He's getting taken down to apartments, and oh my god, Kerrigan in this round, maybe. Still alive with 21 HP. The rotation's coming in from Guardian as well. Wow. And there is the 4th kill for Kerrigan. That's a monstrous play from him. That is a monstrous play.
His spray downs this game have been nuts.
Is he at 18 and 1?
18 and 1.
Why not?
His spray downs have been so strong.
Yeah,
that is perfect.
That kill on Schneider, that's not easy to do, to continue that spray in that fashion.
No, that is impressive.
That was one of the weaker buys of GODSENT as well. What they had around the guns, basically, mainly smoke. Not a good start. Rain, one would presume, will dispose of the AWP somewhere, or at least take it out of harm's reach. There we go. Good awareness from Rain. Knows where the T's might be with that timing. Very awkward fight, but he'll finish it off with some support from his teammate. 10 to 1. The march continues.
Yeah, I don't think anything's really going to slow this FaZe team down. This is disgusting on the CT side. You still have Schneider with 0 kills, Freddy's at 2, and Disco at 1. So, I mean, even beyond the tactical issues, just not finding kills, not finding a lot of openings across the map. That's a big problem. But I mean, they also haven't really. We touched on this a couple times, but I mean, if you think back to the entirety of this half, the 11 rounds played so far, GODSENT really hasn't even worked for banana control whatsoever, which you normally see on this map is like a huge, first step to make on the T sides.
Plan A. It's a nice grenade. Nice. Kerrigan looking for more kills. Nico looking for a flashbang. 10 to 1. No more smokes for the CT side. So when that disappears, do you wonder if you'll see an approach from GODSENT? The bomb is still at the bottom of the ramp, which is where you'd throw a flashbang to start breaching Banana from. But first I'll head up towards top mid.
And that's where Guardian awaits with the AWP as well as Rain. And Olofmeister starts to turn his head to the action as well. There's the flash out towards the peaks. Guardian will be lost, but Rain able to get 2. Olofmeister finds more players towards Arch side, so they effectively understand what's going on here. Kerrigan into the flank, and now that's Disco dot plan in an impossible situation. Nowhere to look, nowhere to hide. Another kill for Rain.
Yeah, why you know Banana?
What's that?
Why you know Banana?
I mean, this map just got smaller for GODSENT, didn't it? If they're not going to go banana whatsoever, like Kerrigan and Nico are going to have that fast flank down mid every single time. That's just going to be murderous. Tough part now is they're just in this cycle of buying where they don't necessarily have the look at their utility. This just essentially has to be like a fast round, I guess. You don't have the smokes, you don't have a lot of flashes, and it's already being slowed down. It's already being damaged. That was a mistake from FaZe though, so you never know.
That communication is just terrible. Well, it's a shooting gallery. Not even bothering with the smokes anymore. This is absolute carnage.
One of the things against a team like, I think one of the principles in general is when you run a strategy, you want to assess whether or not you lost the round because you sort of missed some shots, or was it because you actually put yourself in a bad position? Because if you actually ran the round and you end up in favorable positions, you should probably run the round again. But against FaZe, I feel like it's a consistent thing that they just crush you individually. That you can have as many sick rounds as you want, but when Kerrigan gets like a triple, like crazy spray down like that, you just have to hold your hands up and be like, well, these guys are just playing out of their goddamn minds.
Yeah, I
right
mean,
now.
Kerrigan's 22-2 at the moment. I mean, so you want to talk about how deep this team is with 4 all-star level players. You add Kerrigan into having a good game, it might just be game over. I think the tougher part is that there's not a whole lot of like they don't like GODSENT doesn't have anything to like. They don't seem to have like a plan in these rounds, so like kind of fall back on it or rely on whatsoever. So now, I mean, when you're down 12-1 and when you're down, even 10-1 or 9-1 as it goes, you do start to get more loose in an individual style as a player, just because you're getting battered and you just want to try and make something happen. So that kind of structure kind of naturally fades away when you're having a really, really rough game.
Yeah.
FaZe have given GODSENT banana this round. They've gone passive. Freddie B has been up there pretty early on his own. And now Twist will be having a look. But again, they've got 1 flashbang. And that's it. They've just deployed one of their 2 smokes, presumably towards top mid. So with 1 smoke and 1 flash, I'm imagining they go towards the B bomb site.
Nice.
That's one way to do it.
Disco wins his 1v1 in the apps as well, but no one checks the flower bed. Both players looking towards the site, and there's only one more to go for the trade there as Guardian eliminates their presence in middle. All of a sudden, things are just falling apart for GODSENT. It was a good... I mean...
Did they miss their smoke? Is that what happened
I'm not
on
sure.
the cross?
I don't know.
Is that the one that like went... that was in water? Yes, they did.
Oh, they blocked it.
As if everything could go wrong.
I don't know if they blocked
Happy
it
score.
or if it bounced off the wall. It's hard to tell from that angle, but
Oh no!
No! There he is. There he is.
that's just ridiculous. Oh my god. What can you say about that one?
That laugh part off, I just imagine you in that Street Fighter suit that you had at E-League. Making that laugh, you'd be like the final boss of a game.
Street Fighter suit.
It was the Christmas suit.
Oh right. Yeah. When I actually go to the gym, I should cosplay as Sagat. Anyway, maybe GODSENT can double their score in this round. Has Sonny got a kill yet? I'm not sure if he has, but Rain is looking for more. Still on the 0. That's not good. Freddie B spotted. Can he escape in time though? Rain knows that no one's covering his 6. Nico just dancing around.
He just juked Dennis so hard.
Well then Twist has a lot to do. Nico is close to the site on his own. No, well, Nico's the one with the flash as well. If it was Rain, he could flash the AWP, and I could see it happening as well. But here we are. There is the flash. This will be the construction position. That bomb is ticking pretty quickly. They both have kits, but they've got to find these kills. And the T's are in unlikely positions, or at least Twist is. Nico going for the hero play, but it is the last round after all. 13-2. Total domination from FaZe. Almost total absence on banana from GODSENT.
I think one of the most satisfying things in like when you're like a competitive player is just making the other team or player just feel completely helpless because you're just crushing them so much. Like you get into their heads to such an extent. And FaZe, they are doing a good job there from that perspective. 13-2, nothing. It can't feel from GODSENT's perspective like they can even level to FaZe at the moment in any respect.
That dig shot was outrageous.
It was
pretty dirty.
It was crazy. It's really good. It capped off the half pretty effectively. I feel like.
Ooh, GODSENT got some early information in the middle area, but they've put 3 people on the B bomb site. Top plan is blind for the time being, but no one's engaging him just yet. Getting some kills. Schneider's finally landed on the scoreboard, but that might be his last hurrah. 3 versus 1 now as Freddie tries to make his way into the site. Bomb should be getting planted on short. That's a nice shot. 8 bullets left, so this is doable. They're going for double peek. The wide peek is in. 27 health. No Kevlar. Not much hope. And now there's none.
It's a pretty cool, simple pistol strategy from FaZe, though. 4 rush into halls, and then 2 go to boiler and 2 go to the balcony. And Kerrigan with 2 flashes at the base of mid just throws 1 pop flash up mid as he kind of comes up to join his teammates, and then 1 flash over the wall for the pit player. And very simple, very effective. Quite like it. I mean, even GODSENT even got an early spot on that. They even got an early spot on players rushing up towards halls.
That's why you should have a guy in balcony with a smoke and a 5-7. Smoke apartments, crouch in front of it, block people trying to come out, and then just spam them with a 5-7.
I think Stanislaw uses dualies in that position. We're seeing the dualies come out quite frequently these days. Is there a reason for that? Does anyone know? Are they part of like the pistol buffing?
I think dualies or a 5-7 or a CZ can be viable in some spots where you're expecting 2 or more people to try and breach, like the drop in on cobblestone, for example.
Yeah.
Apps in apartments, that kind of thing. So maybe it's just a matter of choice. I would go for a 5-7 myself, or a CZ. That's a nice shot. I'd go for a 5-7 for the armor pen over a dual Berettas.
I haven't actually had used the 5-7 since the changes to it. I imagine there is something about the dualies though that makes you feel so much cooler.
Yeah, I think it's just cathartic to scream with those. Yeah, I have used the 5-7. I still like it. I think it's less accurate when you're moving. I think that's the main thing. I'm more of a 5-7 guy than a CZ guy. I'm not good enough to use the CZ to its full ability.
Double Nova.
Yes.
When do you see that? You never see that. That's not a thing that happens. This is not looking good for Freddy. That's a nice opener though, and a second one for the follow.
Bravo. Those are not easy shots to land with a Nova.
Surgical.
Yeah, especially that first one, because the spread is pretty tight, especially from that range. So you really need to land your shot. So props to him. GODSENT have taken some damage, but this is still recoverable for FaZe. However, there is a rifle now on Freddy B, which might be a problem.
Rain's AK is called Kinky. Nice. It's time for some sexy action.
Dominatrix, hopefully.
Let's see if Rain can turn the lights off on Freddy. No. Looking good here. Indeed, the close.
The ace.
With the AK-47. Beautiful start from Freddy.
We have to know he just used the decoy as a fake flash, which compromised their position as well in that last exchange.
Boom. This is sexy as hell. Yes.
Fake flash. Then they come back out to aggress again. The wide peak isn't good enough. I think Guardian was a bit late there, but it is what it is. FaZe have another buy. 3 AK-47s.
What just happened?
Smash down 22 HP already. Doppler has an early fight, but he will prevail for a time. And now, who's going to trade this time? Olaf Meister will. Schneider tries to re-aggress, but that's not going to work out. Through the smoke, 22 HP, he'll get punished. And there's no one left on 8 for GODSENT.
Even the pop flash over mid to check. He's spotted both now. He would have obviously liked to win that, but it's all off Meister up. Next, easy shot for him. And Freddy B with 7 HP. He's got to build on that ace.
He's got to build a lot on an ace, but he will do nothing. 16-3, dominant showing from FaZe. Really dominant. Didn't expect it to be quite this dominant, but it really did appear like